is 8-1 with Atarka Red. So we will be underway here in round number 10 from Denver in just a moment.
And the main deck here, cribbed, I believe I saw this main deck at the recent Standard Grand Prix in Japan.
Okay.
The difference from Paulo's Pro Tour Top 8 list, -1 Zergo, +1 Hordeling Outburst.
Sure, so nothing major. A Zergo to start here for Kingsley. He's on the draw. This will be a Silk Wrap from Mize. He wants to get that Zergo out of here right away. Kingsley will take a draw step, picked up a copy of Windswept Heath. Also has a Wooded Foothill, so he'll sacrifice that. And it'll be a Dragon Fodder, creating 2 Goblin tokens. Now, if memory serves, these are Ice Age mountains, yes?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
You can tell because of the snow.
The snow on them, yes. It's a Canopy Vista, and now a Hair of the Wilds here from Logan. He'll have to take 1 to cast the 2/2. Now we're going to go over to Kingsley, who drew a copy of Become Immense. He has a Hordeling Outburst in hand as well. So it feels like this game he's going to be going kind of wide here.
Yeah, it's a challenge to do around a Death Touch blocker. Hair of the Wilds is a challenging one to get through because even if Kingsley has a pump spell to get through it, he's going to lose one of his attackers as a result. At this point, Kingsley has 2 paths. One is hope to draw a shock, get the air off the table, and then you can really start attacking. The other is draw more pieces of the combo. He's already found a copy of Become Immense, and his graveyard's already got 4 cards in it, so if he draws Temur Battle Rage, he's actually ready to go next turn.
This will be an offensive. Might as well have to take 1 to cast that. Now, in Kingsley's hand, he does have a copy of Abbot of Carol Keep, so that could turn into anything. The draw step was a mountain here.
Yeah, Abbot gets him a look at a removal spell, which would be ideal here. And even just another threat to continue to go wide is not the worst.
So here's the Abbot. There will be a trigger. Take a look at the top card. It's an Atarka's Command.
Atarka's Command is enough to incentivize an Alpha Strike here. The air dies in this exchange.
Which is okay.
He gets through a lot of damage, and it's another card in the graveyard. So now Become Immense is only 1 mana to cast for sure. He can easily pair it with any other piece of the puzzle, be it Temur Battle Rage, be it Titan Strength, what have you.
Pretty decent turn there for Kingsley, and still a solid board intact.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's so strong about Atarka Red. From here, there's a reasonable shot that Kingsley can win the game just by attacking each turn, regardless of tricks, regardless of other pump spells.
Mize with an Abzan Charm in hand, also another copy of Hair of the Wilds. Has a Siege Rhino, but I don't think land number 4 is over there for Logan.
Well, another issue here is if he puts the shields down here and adds another blocker to the table, he's going to have no access to removal spells. He won't even be able to bluff a removal spell, and at that point, he's very vulnerable to just being killed by the combo.
And this is a situation, right, if you're Logan, it's just more of a, I hope you don't have it right now.
Logan's now dead to Become Immense. Yep. He had to take a point off the Land War Waste to cast Hair of the Wilds, and there's going to be 8 points coming across.
And Temur Battle Rage was the draw,
Make
too.
that way more than 8 points.
Yep. Everything's coming in. There will be some blocks that take place here from Logan, as he's going to try to figure out what the best blocks would be in this situation. But if Kingsley just dropped his hand on the table, Logan would pick up his cards.
Correct.
There are your blocks. Yep, and here come your spells. Temur Battle Rage, Become Immense, rid myself of my entire graveyard. And that'll do just fine as everything is going over there. Kevin Kingsley going to win game number 1 here over Logan Mize. Atarka Red very quickly up a game over Abzan Aggro.
And that was a mulligan on the draw there for Kingsley.
Yep.
And Mize's hand was solid. So, like I said, this is typically a very good Game 1 matchup for Atarka Red.
We'll see what Logan does have to bring to the table. We talked about the Pitiless Hordes that he had yesterday, but that's more for your Esper matchup. Now, he does have 2 copies of Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Ration Clerics, 2 Ultimate Price, a Murderous Cut of Silk Wrap, a Dromoka's Command, and then 2 Hollow Moonlights. So some good things to bring to the table.
Yeah, a Ration Cleric, Ultimate Price, Murderous Cut, Silk Wrap, and Dromoka's Command are all fine cards in the matchup. Some of them are quite good. Ultimate Price is one of the better removal spells. Very good early on in the game at just breaking up the curve. Very good later on in the game as it's a removal spell that always works against someone who's trying to combo out.
On the other side of things here for Kingsley, we talk about the roast right at the top of the matchup. He's got 4 of those. 4 rending volleys, 2 boiling earths, a fiery impulse, a hordling outburst, 2 Chandra, fire of Kaladesh, and then an outpost siege.
So the 4 roasts are a lock to come in here. Anafenza, Siege Rhino, a lot of good blockers on the ground. Roast is Kingsley's most important card on the sideboard here. After that, there's some okay options. I don't mind bringing in the 4th copy of Hordling Outburst. I like the 2 copies of Chandra in this matchup. It often dies, but it has to die immediately. And some percent of the time, the Abzan aggro deck can't kill it. It flips into a Planeswalker and does a lot of work. I'm not a big fan of Outpost Siege in general, but if you are going to have it in your sideboard, this is one of the matchups where it's likely to come in.
You can play a little bit of a longer game here.
The problem that I have with playing a longer game is once the Abzan aggro deck has blocker plus removal spell set up, you can draw 2 cards a turn and you're still unlikely to win.
Sure.
And a 4-mana spell is a pretty big cost for an aggressive deck that's only playing with 21 lands. But again, if you have it, this is a fine spot to bring it in.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Logan Mize will be on the play. In the meantime, we will talk about the very popular promotion with Star City Games. It's SCG Game Night, and in December, you can still get the reindeer.
Again, head over to starcgames.com/game night for more information. Every month we come out with a new kit of pins and tokens we send to stores who run game night, and then those stores have the option of setting up game night however they want to. Any day of the week, sanctioned or unsanctioned, just getting players in the store for some fun and friendly magic. This is the December kit, what players are currently playing for. January come down the pipeline. We got Grizzly Branding if you want to get signed up for January or February, which we have announced this weekend. Magus of the Moo, who I found out is a woman because it has udders, and that's something that only women cows have. StarCityGames.com/game night for more information, or contact your Star City Games in-store play representative. Canadian store owners and players, if you haven't brought game night to your store because of the cost of the kits, we have changed the shipping rates to just U.S. domestic. So again, StarCityGames.com/game night for more information. Contact your Star City Games in-store play representative. Bring game night to your store now that the shipping rates of the kits have gone down.
We're getting ready here for game number 2 between Logan Mize and Kevin Kingsley. And for Mize, it's been a very, very important weekend for him. The 9-0 start, you couldn't really draw it up any better.
Yeah, that's ideal. I also got to give a loss to Caleb Schur.
Yep.
Someone I'm sure Logan will be happy to not see in the top 8.
Yes.
If that should come to bear. But yeah, 9-0, great start here.
10th place right now on our Season 4 leaderboard. Again, if we were to start the Players' Championship today, he'd be the first person out. But he's making the most of his opportunity here this weekend. Can't ask for anything better. Down a game right now in what's a tough matchup, game number 1.
Yes. But he's got a lot of cheap interaction in the sideboard. That's really the recipe. You know, your Silk Wraps, your ultimate prices. As long as you can slow the game down, then you have a lot of luxury to make your land drops and then get to that spot, like I mentioned, where you have a blocker and a removal spell available. And often a Tarka Red cannot get out from that position.
Well, both players are going to take a look at their opening hand. Logan Mize will be on the play here. We'll see if he finds 7 cards that he's happy with. Kingsley will be doing the same. You mentioned he did take a mulligan the last game, but was able to just work his way through that pretty easily. Mize going to keep. He'll start off with the Wooded Foothills. We're underway here in game number 2. Kingsley will draw cards, copy of Teamer Battle Rage. He'll sacrifice a Bloodstained Mire, play a Monastery Swift Spear, come across for 1, and Mize will fall down to 19. Mize will take a draw step. It's a Flooded Strand. A lot of fetch lands and Abzan aggro, of course.
Yep.
He'll sacrifice both of his fetch lands. Going to fall down to 17 in the process. Got some lands on the way.
With Forest Plains, he's got access to a lot of good 2-drops here. Heir of the Wilds is very nice in this position. Again, it's a blocker that still trades through pump spells. Also, Silk Wrap is not a bad way to slow the game down.
It's going to be an Ration Clerk. How's that sound?
Also good. Solid blocker. I mean, this card is not game over by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a fine way to slow it down.
Bloodstained Mire, the draw.
This card is a reason that I think it's very important to leave Titan Strength in against Abzan aggro. Helps you a lot trading up into their Anafenza and Siege Rhino type of blockers, and it's a very good answer to this card because it just kills the Arashan Cleric no matter what gets blocked, and your initial creature sticks around.
That'll be a copy of Roast.
That's a big win for Mize that this is happening right now.
Going to take 2, and that's 1 less Roast he has to worry about.
Roast is a very precious resource in this matchup.
So Logan will draw. starting his third turn at 18. Windswept Heath the draw. Den Protector in hand, along with what looks like 2 copies of Siege Rhino. There's a Den Protector face up. That'll be a Flooded Strand, pass the turn back. Logan doing a great job at concealing Murderous Cut right now.
Yep.
Can sacrifice that fetch land for a Sunken Hollow. The fetch land and the Flooded Strand will be the 4th card in the graveyard. So I like this play a lot here by Logan. Here's a Dragon Fodder. Here comes Swift Spear. Now the tricky thing is do you want to use a cut on this, or do you just want to take the damage?
So the argument for cutting here is to be mana efficient, especially since you're going to be following up with Siege Rhino next turn and probably the turn after. The argument against is that Murderous Cut is your best source of interaction against the combo. But I think with Logan being able to produce Siege Rhinos on back-to-back turns, he can just afford to be mana efficient here. It's very unlikely he gets killed by the combo going back-to-back Siege Rhinos.
Well, here's that Murderous Cut. Down goes the Swift Spear. And then we're going to head back Logan's way. He'll draw a card. Found another copy of Flooded Strand. A fetch land heavy draw, but it's a fetch land heavy deck.
Yeah.
You are going to pay about 2 or 3 life every game for your mana base.
I would imagine there's 12 in there at least. It's got to be 4 Heath, 4 Foothills, and 4 Flooded Strands at the minimum, right?
Yeah, you got exactly 12.
Yeah.
He'll sacrifice a Heath, fall down to 16. You saw Den Protector come across there for 2. And those Dragon Fodder tokens can't block it. Can't be Vista's the land that Logan does fine, and I think we'll have our first Siege Rhino here for him of this game.
That 12 fetch land count seems very common for the 4 color decks. Jeskai Black's mana base is also often on the 12. It's a different assortment, but it's the same principle. The 4 color decks, the 12 get you most of your colors pretty smoothly.
19 to 13 are the life totals as we head back to Kingsley. And he'll play a Roast, Rhino down. Across for 2, he's going to come. But again, if I'm Logan, I'm fine with that exchange as well.
Yep.
He didn't add to the board in addition to Roast. He just roasted attack for 2 and just passed the turn back. Here's an attack for 2. And now another Siege Rhino. We're going to go back to Kingsley now. You see the life total's 20 to 8. The strategy now might be time to go wide. He's going to start with an Abbot. There's a fetch land which will help because that'll be land number 4 here for Kevin. And he does, I believe, have another Dragon Fodder to play.
Well, and you look, he's got Titan Strength and Temur Battle Rage in hand. He's definitely drawing live to become immense for a kill.
Yes.
Even from this position.
And it's not a great position.
Yeah, it looks really bad on the surface, but Kingsley is definitely drawing live here.
Couple copies of Cinderglade. That could be another Abbot. I'd be surprised if that's the play. I think he might just go Dragon Fodder.
Yep, just get as much stuff on the table as possible.
He'll pass the turn back over to Mize.
If he fails to find the last piece of the puzzle to go off next turn, he can instead try to Abbot for Roast.
Sure.
So, you know.
It is crazy that this Atarka Red deck can kind of kill from this base.
Yeah. I mean,
Logan's at 20.
Kingsley, it feels like every turn he's kind of gotten rocked. Logan has had a good curve and 2 Siege Rhinos, and that might not be enough depending on how Kingsley's draw step cooperates.
I like the attack here by Logan a lot. Presenting lethal. It also just kind of whittles away at Kingsley's board a little bit. Maybe makes him question how he's going to block in a situation like this.
Well, the other thing is that Logan's blockers are just not worth a ton right now.
Yep.
He really can't block against the best possible hands that Kingsley has. So his best bet is just try to present lethal.
Den Protector's going to trade with Abbott. Rhino's going to come across here. And now there's an Irrational Cleric. Logan's going to go up to 23 and cross his fingers and hope he doesn't die.
Yep, but he can die from here.
The draw is another copy of Titan Strength.
So I think I would have preferred a Titan Strength on the upkeep there.
Maybe to influence the draw
Because I
step.
think Kingsley is on Become Immense or Bust.
Sure. Here's Abbott.
I suppose he can add it into Rose still.
Fiery Impulse. How does that line up? He's going to kill the Cleric. Going to attack her with quite a few creatures. Actually, a pretty good attack.
This is a nice attack because Kingsley can still block and Titan Strength his own Abbott. That allows him to survive combat, as he'll only be taking 1 point of trample damage. He gets a Scry, and he still has Titan Strength plus Steamer Battle Rage in his hand.
How about a Siege Rhino top deck?
Okay.
That'll end things just fine there for Logan Mize, as the third Rhino is going to help him get the job done. Logan Mize is going to win game number 2 here over Kevin Kingsley. Obs on aggro and Tarka Red. Get ready for game number 3.
Yep. A tight game, though, and, at the end of it, it looks like Mize's board is a lot better, which it is, and the life totals weren't that close, and that's also true, but Kingsley was Become Immense away from winning that game.
Yeah, but now if you're Mize, I don't know about you, but it's that uncomfortable feeling where you're on the draw game 3 against Red.
And this is why, I am an advocate for this Atarka Red deck. Your best draws, it almost doesn't matter what your opponent's bringing to the table. You don't get that draw all the time, but the best ones ignore everything.
Well, think about red decks previously, right? If a red deck had got to turn 6 or turn 7 like that against a Siege Rhino deck that's at 20, it's over. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And this deck can climb all the way back and one draw step of Become Immense, and Kingsley would have won the game.
And a lot of the combo pieces, like Become Immense, for example, that card's just fine. That's all than just 1 mana +6/+6. That's very easy for this deck to do. I don't mind playing with Titan Strength, a deck that's generating a bunch of tokens because it helps you power past 1 blocker. You can send all your tokens and Titan Strength and trade with their Anafenza or whatever. Really, only Teamer Battle Rage is the cost of playing with the combo. It's a card that's not very good on its own, but it's so powerful in concert with these cards that you're already pretty happy to play. That package is just so synergistic, so powerful.
Kingsley will be on the play here for game number 3 as he and Mize do shuffle up. So we'll briefly talk about the Fall Creature Collection here with Star City Games. We got playmat sleeves and player bundles of some of your game night favorites.
Yeah, you see on the screen there the Fall Creature Collection, the Hippo, the Otter, the Reindeer, and Penguillian Click, available on playmat sleeves and player bundles over at StarCityGames.com/creature collection or over at our dealer booth at any of our opens or any Grand Prix we're vending at.
We'll have a Winter 2016 collection for you guys at the beginning of next year, so look forward to that. Some other game night favorites like old Grizzly Brand, Magus of the Moo. Well, for right now, we've got some of these ones, especially the Hippo. A battle won over the years.
Yes, took a long time. Not nearly as destructive as I would have preferred, but at least we finally have the Hippo.
I agree. All right, we'll see what Kingsley can do here with his opening hand. Same can be said for Mize. This Atarka Red deck is a very scary one to play against. The other thing, too, I like about this deck is it actually mulligans pretty well.
Yeah, and you can kill from a very low base. It doesn't take that many cards to do it. So I am much more liberal about mulliganing with this deck than most red decks I've played in my life.
It looks like Mize is going to send it on back. He'll be looking at 6 cards here in just a moment. And you have to imagine Logan is looking for specific cards.
Yeah, a hand where the first play of the game, let's say, is a face-down Den Protector, that has to go back. He needs to interact on turn 2 to have an acceptable hand.
Well, Logan Mize right now is the player of the weekend here. He is 9-0 in a third game right now against Kevin Kingsley, looking to go 10-0 with Obs on aggro. He's got 1 invitational top 8, season 2 of last year, and 6 Open Series top 8s, looking for number 7 this weekend. He played in the Players' Championship last year, and if he keeps this run going, we're going to see him in 2 weeks in Roanoke.
Yeah, he's got a great opportunity here to pick up a nice sum of points here, get to the Invitational with a shot of blocking it up and getting to Roanoke the week after.
We'll see if he can find 6 cards that he is happy with here. As it looks like Kevin Kingsley, he kept the 2-lander. I saw Bloodstained Mire and a Mountain in hand. So you're already pretty happy with that.
I believe Zergo and Swift Spear as well.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to keep there. The other 3 are just extra.
Yeah.
At this point.
A Hordeling Outburst, I think.
Sure.
Another fine card. I believe I saw a Roast in the hand. Looked like a very good 7-card hand.
Yep.
The other way that you can win, again, just go wide and kill things.
Yep.
You don't necessarily need to combo out, though. That's the easier path of the 2.
I just like that this deck has a couple different approaches in a Tarka Red. We got to remember, Abzan Aggro is a deck that did win the Pro Tour, and it's put up great results over the past couple of months. So might as well take a look here with his Scry. You can see for Logan, he does have a copy of a Ration Cleric in hand. And we're going to start here with Kingsley. He'll play a Zergo, he'll pass the turn back over to Mize, who kept with the Scry. He'll play a Shambling Vet, pass the turn back over to Kingsley. Kingsley with a Dragon Fodder as the draw. He'll sacrifice Bloodstained Mire, going to fall down to 19. Get a basic mountain here. Now he's going to go to Swift Spear territory, it appears. And a Lightning Berserker is going to be dashed. Really good start here for Kevin.
Yeah. Though given how mana tight his hand is, I think I might have simply cast Lightning Berserker.
There's a Plains. Here's a Ration Cleric. Mize going to go back up to 19. Pretty solid blocker there.
But still an excellent start for Kingsley nonetheless.
Kingsley going to draw. Become Immense. Does not appear to have land number 3, so he's just going to play a fodder. That'll trigger the Swift Spear. Attacking is clear for takeoff. Mize will get to block one of the 2 power creatures. 2 damage will come through. Mize is going to fall back down to 17. Gideon the draw here for Logan. The question now is, does he have the green mana? A second Cleric will buy him some time. There's a Smoldering Marsh. And now passing the turn back.
If there is no one seated across
Kingsley with another copy of Dragon Fodder.
please raise your hand.
And I believe Kingsley has hit a dead end in terms of attacking.
Or my friend or Warren.
Looks like it might be time to continue to keep going wide here.
Yeah, just put some more stuff on the table. I don't think there's an attack really to be made here.
I think this is part of the reason that you like to see that Berserker cast the previous turn, because now he could just attack with the Berserker, pump twice, and actually be able to get a Cleric off the board.
Yeah. That part would be nice right now. The bigger thing is when you have a lot of mana to spare, I'm much more of a fan of dashing early on in the game. When you don't have mana to spare, then I think it's more important to just get stuff on the table. And Kingsley's hand did not have mana to spare.
How do you feel about this attack?
I'm not a huge fan of this attack. It's basically 2 damage coming through. You're giving Logan the opportunity to double block the Zergo and get it off the table for free. Or you're giving the option for him to just split the blockers and take 0.
And kill 2 Goblin tokens, too.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like most of you are in your seats for Legacy.
Given how Logan's lands
Good
look,
morning, guys.
where he doesn't have any green mana, I'm not a huge fan of that attack, just because I think you can kind of tell with a mulliganer he's got a little bit of mana trouble. He did peel Windswept Heath this turn, so that's going to allow him to search for a basic forest. But I'm not sure how much is accomplished on that particular attack by Kingsley.
That don't have to deal with the tournament and Magic rules.
It also doesn't add any other cards to the graveyard for Become Immense either.
I want to thank you guys.
Here's
for
4 mana. Is it Gideon? It is.
Denver. This is for the foreseeable future, the last Legacy Premier IQ.
There's a Night Ally.
That doesn't mean we're done with Legacy.
Roast the
Starting
draw.
next week at the Las Vegas Invitational, we're changing the branding a little, changing the prizes. We'll have a Legacy Classic.
And again, we're in dead end territory here for Kingsley, and an unchecked Gideon is very challenging to beat. If you got a lot going on, it's not that hard to get rid of the token and knock down Gideon in one attack without costing you too much. But when the game slows down, Gideon's a nightmare.
Well, here's the question I ask you, given your experience with the Tarkarat. What are the draws that he's looking for to get himself out of the situation?
He has to just set up the combo now.
Okay.
That's really the only out. The other draw, which I'm not sure it's even in his deck anymore, and he's lacking green mana, is he can set up a board where a Tarkus command does some work too. Because he's going to have a lot of 1/1s around. The 1/1s with the Tarkus command become 2/2. So if those tokens from Gideon get involved in combat, then they're going to at least trade off a little bit. But
This will be a roast.
I will tell you about your food and drink situation.
You're going to take down a
My
cleric,
understanding is that your head judge
and there will be some attacks
would
here.
like to do that for me.
They're all going to go towards Gideon, but Kingsley's going to lose some resources to just knock that down. I don't even think he's going to be able to get it off the table.
Yeah, this is a very easy block here for Mize. Gideon at 1 loyalty versus Gideon at 4 loyalty doesn't really matter. Logan's not in much of an interest in making an emblem in this matchup, and he still gets to make inroads on Kingsley's board and take no damage for his trouble.
Yeah. Logan going to sacrifice a flooded strand. He'll get himself a Canopy Vista. That's the second source of green mana.
Judges, you are now going to be passing out your tokens for participating in this event that are already passed out. All right.
We'll see what comes next here for Mize. One thing to keep in mind here is that Logan does have that shambling vent over there as well. His life total is relatively high at this point, but it's just another part of the game plan for him.
Yes, and Shambling Vent's a great resource to have in this matchup. The games where a target red is doing its thing, the Shambling Vent is really rough because it's a land that comes into play tapped and you don't have the time to activate it. But when the game slows down, it's an awesome resource to have.
This will be a morph.
Because we don't want your underground seas to become watery graves.
Den Protector is face down now. Logan kind of deciding how he wants to use his Gideon. Might be considered getting aggressive, but I like just making the token here.
I think he's about to turn away. The thing to keep in mind is Logan has an incentive to get the game over with because the combo can still punk him out even from spots like this. So it's not unreasonable to consider starting to attack with Gideon here, but I think we're probably a turn away from that. Next turn, if nothing too bad happens here for Logan on this turn, and he's able to Den Protector back into Ration Cleric, then I think we're going to see Gideon start to go on the offensive with the rest of the team being held back.
Den Protector's going to unmegamorph. That means it'll get a +1/+1 counter. Ration Cleric's going to come back to the grip here for Logan.
If you're not looking at your deck list,
He'll draw a card.
you're doing it wrong.
Murderous cut the draw.
And we are now approaching the point of the game being locked. I've been in this spot before. Kingsley can't make any attacks the way the board currently looks. He's going to need the combo to be able to attack, and Logan's got to cover with Murderous Cut.
And if Logan can start attacking like this, then he believes he's in a great spot.
Yeah.
As Gideon's going to come across and Den Protector.
I think he has Dramoka's command in hand as well, which means that if Kingsley tries to do anything in combat when Logan's attacking, then Gideon is there to fight things down. Gideon's very good at fighting things down.
It's another cleric that's going to push Mize up to 17. Kingsley down to 11. Kevin will untap. He'll take a draw step. It's another copy of Monastery's Swift Spear. Hasn't been able to find the green mana for the Become Immenses. He had a window there where he would actually play some here, but at this stage, especially with the 2 removal spells, man, I don't think there's any coming back here for Kevin.
I don't think Kingsley ever got to a point where he had a window to win the game.
I don't think he had a window to win the game.
He had a window where he could have cast Become Immense and it would have been fine for him,
Yeah.
but he never even got that close this game. And this is with Logan mulliganing on the draw.
Yep. Swifter's coming in. For Logan, at this stage, there's only a couple cards he actually has to play around with 1 red mana. Fiery Impulse, Wild/Titan Strength.
And you're pretty confident that Fiery Impulse would have just been played before blocks to clear something out.
Yeah.
So you could probably take that one off the table. It's a very strong representation of Titan Strength right now in Kingsley's hand, which he has.
And for Logan, he's just saying, okay, that's fine. Here is Titan Strength. Now we may see him make a move with one of his removal spells. We'll see. He's going to let Titan Strength resolve right now.
Well, I think Logan has 2 removal spells in hand.
Yep.
So I think he's just going to let this go through because he has lethal on the way back.
Oh, well, if that's the case, that makes it very easy.
Yeah, he's 12 points of damage. Kingsley's down 11. He's got Dramoka's command plus Murderous Cut, so he can clear out the last 2 blockers, just crack back for lethal. Logan was just double checking to make sure he wasn't dying on that attack.
Yeah, no nonsense. Yeah, Logan going to show, I've got enough to get the job done with this Murderous Cut. And that is going to do it. Logan Mize is going to win this match here over Kevin Kingsley, 2-1. Abzan Aggro going to take care of Atarka Red. And for Mize, he's number 10 on our Season 4 leaderboard, and he is 10-0.
And an interesting thing about that matchup, and something that confirms the matches I've played too, you had 2 games there, Game 1 and Game 3, where the winner mulliganed on the draw. And you're looking at 2 aggressive decks. And the mana in both of these decks is not perfect.